6 current signs of the coming socialist agenda in America. The question is, for all of us, can this really happen in the United States? Could we turn into a socialist nation? Well, the answer is yes. It's happened throughout history. We cannot stick our head into the sands and just hope for tomorrow. We cannot click our heels together like Dorothy did in The Wizard of Oz and sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow and everything will be okay. This is happening right in front of us, and we need to pay attention, and yes, it can happen. Here are some things I want all of us to be educated about and to be on the lookout for. Number one, President Biden, and I'm respectful to him, he needs Jesus. President Biden has issued and signed more executive orders than any other president at this point in his, in the Harris-Biden administration. I got to make that one little joke. So the first sign I want to give you of how a nation moves towards socialism, and even if you want to slash it and move further to communism, you have to understand, since 1994, I've been traveling to Russia. I've been working in socialist nations, much time in Ukraine, much time in nations like Finland and Estonia that are social democracies today. They're still socialist governments. I've seen it all. I've seen the medical care, seen the governments in action, even in affluent countries when it's still tough to live in certain ways. The first sign is always an overreaching government ruled by top-tier governmental orders. It's exactly what we are witnessing right in front of our eyes. Sign number two, socialism strikes quickly. Folks, it was just a few years ago that we were hearing Ronald Reagan tell Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall, 1989, tearing down the walls of socialism and communism. 99, 09, 19, 21, 32 years, here is where we're at. And the escalation and the acceleration of the pace that is happening is mind-boggling. What do we mean? It's a rapid pace. No explanations, no legislation, no accountability from the state-run media. Let's take, and I called it state-run media. If you do not think the state is running CNN and these other liberal madhouses of disinformation, then I've got some beachfront property to sell you on the North Pole. Absolutely, the government is, with big tech, controlling liberal media. It's a fact. That's not hearsay, it's a fact. But what's happening is, and this is what the video I showed you earlier, President Trump wants to go to the border because even our own senators can't go down there and take pictures. Media's not allowed to show what is going on. Folks, what happened to the freedom of press? What happened to the freedom of speech? What happened to the right to share expressions? It's happening right in front of our eyes. Number three, socialism attacks that very free speech and media. A step-by-step silencing, censoring, deplatforming of any voice politically to the right of socialist thinking. I didn't say ultra-conservatives. I didn't say Christians. It's even moderates. It's even some Democrats. Any people that think right, that means more conservative than socialist thinking, your voice must be silenced or deplatformed. That is why it's so shocking. On Friday night I showed you, can you believe that Bernie Sanders actually came out and supported Trump being allowed to tweet on Twitter? It's because even for Sanders, it's pushing to that leftist agenda. It's very, very dangerous. Now, the H.R. 5 Equality Act that passed in the House of Representatives, which in theory is anti-discriminatory, right? In its supposed nature, while it discriminates against the family unit and the church. I did some research on this, and folks, this Equality Act is dangerous stuff. It's already passed the House. It has, according to strategists, a 23 to 25% chance of passing the Senate. Now, the exact, if you don't remember Civics 101, the exact bill that passed the House of Representatives must be the same bill that passes the Senate exactly, then this president signs it into law. Okay? So the bill is passed the House. In the Senate, it's going to require 60 votes. 23% chance is what they're saying that has of happening. We need to be praying against H.R. 5, because in this act, here are some of the things that are happening. Redefining gender, okay? Requiring owners of all establishments open to the public to comply. And folks, there is no substatements, highlights, parenthesis that says religious organizations are exempt. It means as of right now in that bill, the church, nonprofit organizations are included in that. There is a direct statement in H.R. 5 that would force faith-based organizations to hire employees who do not share their beliefs for diversity. So in its very nature, trying to be anti-discriminatory, the whole bill is discrimination against people of faith, against the church, against other organizations, against businesses, against private enterprises. This is not just about the church. This is about the American way of life. It threatens religious freedom and free speech. It requires all organizations to open to the public, to open their bathrooms to the public. It undermines parental rights. It takes away the rights of parents. It forces healthcare providers to provide abortions, gender transition surgeries, and the list goes on and on and on. We need to be praying against H.R. 5. And as you can see here, number 3, it is a direct attack against what we know to be true. Now, last couple of things. Number 4, when socialism is rolling, it's breaking down the family unit is seen as a good thing. Today, there was news release that the Biden administration is mulling tax hikes. Now listen to this. And this is for higher income earners. But it is going to structure the tax hikes so that it is better for people not to file as married. You could have been married for 30 years happy. They want you to be in a better tax way to file separately. You see, it's just an attack, even in little ways, to break down the family unit and to redefine what the family is. Number 5, a slowed and locked down economy serves the socialist agenda. Even right now, universal income, wages, minimum wage hiked to $15. And listen, I'm all for people making money and people being paid fairly. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about government intrusion into private sector that will destroy many times the economy of small towns and small places. A reallocation of the supply. And right now, Wall Street is saying we will not fight back against this, because if they fight back against the government's mandate on finances, who's going to win? Wall Street's not going to win. The government will win. It's a fact, because they can control the purse strings. And then finally, an adjustment of the focus for living is to serve the state. Private versus governmental, individual versus collective. What's better for everybody? Folks, these are just 6 of the signs we see happening right now in our country. Of course, we will continue to monitor them, and we'll see what unfolds. I want to leave you with one final scripture, and this scripture, Sharon Delisle, this one's for you as well. When I think back to the Nike shoe, in fact, I'm going to go back here. This is our last parting thought. Where is this guy at? Right there. Let me put it up here for you. What an attack what's going on in our country, what's going on in our world, I want to remind you of the words of Jesus as he hung on the cross, as he was slain as the lamb, as his blood was shed for the remission of sins, yours, mine, and little Nas X. Absolutely. What a testimony it would be for this kid to get saved and turn his story around. Remember, when you begin to get angry, begin to get upset, begin to get discouraged, remember this. Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. May that also be our attitude. The scripture says, may the mind of Christ be in us. May the mind of Christ be in us. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That is the gospel message.